Yeah. Under Unit 1, Principles of Work Zones, Traffic Management Plans, Lecture 7. So, we are going to see about the basic principles of WTMPs. So, this is work zone traffic management plans. The basic principles of WTMP are the basic governing the design of roadway should also govern the design of work zones of traffic management plans. That means, so whatever the road design, whatever safety factors we are precautions we are taking, the same is applicable for WTMP also. So the four basic principles of any road highway design is the safe road. The road should be safe so that no accidents. Safe speed. So we fix some safe speed limits. So work zone also we fix 50 or 30. Depends upon the work zone area and the dangerous vulnerability of that area. Safe vehicle, yes, the brake efficiency, the condition of the vehicle plays an important role for overall safety of that work zone area. Safe road users. So the road user should have awareness about the for a particular signboard how to behave and what it is actually communicating. So this kind of the basic knowledge should be there. The basic principle of WTMP is shown here. The road safety is shown here. So they have to obey. It may be a pedestrians or a car rider or a two-wheeler rider, whoever may be a truck user. He or she has to follow the uh, guidelines or whatever the rules stipulated at the work zone area, so that there should not be any accidents. While designing a WTP, all care needs to be taken so that anyone come along with the road or the footpath from any direction understand exactly what is the meaning of what it is trying to communicate. So the signboard should be clear. See, not only in the words, it should be in symbols, so that all people means from other countries also can able to understand what it is trying to communicate, so that they behave accordingly. See, the communication itself is a problem, means then that may cause serious uh, problems. So the signboard should be clear and should be well maintained, properly painted, and it should not have any confusions. So such kind of signboards we need to select and use it in the work zones. So here one kind of a drawing is shown here. No mobile phone. So this is a common criteria, not only in the work site, but also in normal traffic movement. Whenever we are driving, no, you should not use mobile phone, and you need to obey the traffic signals. When there is a red, you need to stop your vehicle. Green, you can proceed. Yellow means with caution, you can proceed. Never drink and drive. So stop, look, and cross. See, whenever a pedestrian is crossing a road, want to cross a road, he has to see whether a vehicle is coming. If there is no vehicle, then only he can cross. Or whenever there is a signal is there, then pedestrian signal is there, then only he can cross. The aim should be to facilitate the passage of road users through such work zones using roadway geometrics, roadside features, and traffic control devices comparable to those for normal highway operations. So work zone, the passage should be clearly defined by through various traffic control devices like cones or barricades, so that the vehicle can move smoothly at a designated speed or the specified speed without giving hindrance to the workplace also. So the vehicle has to move smoothly, safely, without giving any problem to the work site too. So such a way that you have to plan the separation of workspace and the traffic movement. There should not be any confusion in that. So where is the work zone, where is the traffic path is clearly defined, the proper indication markings or the roadside studs, whatever may be required. So in this picture you can see the how the cones are placed properly and with the arrow mark. So it gives clearly that he has to switch to the next lane. So there is a buffer zone is there, he has to take switch to the next lane, and there is a path is also well clearly defined so that vehicle can move without any confusion. And all the cones should be arranged in line, it should not be in episode way that may cause the driver confusion. It may sometimes he may enter into the work site. So the cones should be properly placed, and there is a continuous monitoring also there. So whether any changes or any either it is a condition is maintained consistently during day and night, the continuous monitoring also necessary for safe operation of workspace. Thus, the road user movement should be free from any hazard with the following aspect in view. So, what are the principles, the basic principles? Now, see one by one. So, these principles we follow, that most probably the hazard free zone we can ensure. WTMP at worksite should be designed on the assumption that drivers will only reduce their speeds if they clearly perceive a need to do so. So, whenever the vehicle is entering into a work zone, the driver can able to understand whether it is necessary to reduce speed or with a normal speed you can go proceed. So the signboards should be properly kept at a appropriate distances so that the driver can, if needed, he can reduce the speed. That should be clearly placed. That will improve the overall safety of the work zone. Frequent and abrupt changes in geometry such as lane narrowing, dropped lanes means closing of lanes, or main roadway transitions that require rapid maneuver need to be avoided. So there's a smooth transition should be there, and clearly it should be indicated. And sufficient distance should be given. Buffer zone means this much distance depends upon the uh, road geometry or road design speeds, expected speeds. So accordingly, and night time proper lighting facility should be there. And sudden change, sudden road closure, those things will cause confusion to the driver. That there shouldn't be any confusion. Clearly, it should be done. Provision should be made for the safe operation of work, particularly on high speed, high volume roads, expressways, national highways, where your speed is priority. So, in such conditions, high volume roads, heavy trucks are plying, then accordingly the precautionary measures should be taken. Bicyclists and pedestrians, including those with disabilities, should be provided with access and safe passage through the work zone. So, generally, a normal traffic condition, if you see the vulnerable road user should be segregated well away from the uh, motorized modes. So in work zones also that should be maintained. There should not be any mix or insufficient road width. Sometimes may lead to mixing of both vulnerable road users and fast moving vehicles. That should not be there. Should be properly separated. The sufficient space should be given for bicyclists, pedestrians, so that they can also pass the. See, these are rules, principles. Okay, so there should not be any violation in this. Bicycle pedestrians should be guided in a clear and positive manner while approaching and traversing the work zones. So the first priority you should give for cyclists and pedestrians. That's what they are insisting again and again. So they are vulnerable users. They are directly exposed to the road traffic. Not only road traffic, they are exposed to the heavy construction machineries. So the proper care should be given for them so that people feel psychologically comfortable. They cross the work zone without any fear. Roadway occupancy, that is, the using the roadway for construction activity, should be scheduled during the off-peak hours, and if necessary, night work should be considered after careful assessing its pros and cons. Say by the roadside construction work, something if you are doing, or roadway you are going to occupy, most probably try to do it during off-peak hours. If suppose number of days the work is going, so in such cases, the movement of heavy machineries, construction machineries, material transportation, those things should be carefully scheduled without affecting the peak hour traffic. So mostly off peak period, you can operate this type of traffic. That's what they are saying. So this is one of the important principles. So they should not create problem or delay for the peak hour traffic. Mostly they are school educational trip makers or office trip makers. So they may get irritated. So that should not be there. Road users and workers' safety and accessibility in work zones should be an integral and high priority element of every project from planning through design and construction. So, the safety of road users, workers should be ensured for the entire project period. There should not be any lapses. Continuously monitoring should be there. Then and the traffic engineer has to visit to the site surprisingly and to see the conditions, whether it's well maintained, everything is paka. Okay, that is the responsibility of the traffic engineer or the plan creator. So he has to see inside how it is executed and continuously whether it is there or not. So all these things need to be ensured. Early coordination with officials having jurisdiction over the affected cross streets, those providing emergency services should take place before roadway and street side closing. This means, say, whenever you are planning to close a side street for road widening project or some road construction work, the prior permission should be taken from those in the street. Some hospitals may be there, or continuous or residence houses may be there. Sometimes fire may break out. You need to give proper alternative routes to reach those streets in case of any emergency or ambulance or any emergency vehicle has to proceed, right? So you are closing the side streets, so direct access is completely you are blocking. Then in that case, alternate route should be given, and that route should be good enough for fast moving of these emergency kind of vehicles. So that need to be ensured. Special plan preparation and coordination with the transit, other highway agencies, law enforcement, other emergency units, utilities, schools, railways, needed for reducing unexpected and usual road user resistance. So there are different stakeholders are involved, right? Especially in the public transportation system, you cannot shift the bus stops to the other street since you are closing the main road for traffic constructions. At least one lane you need to provide for so that the public transport system can be operated in the same road. The bus stops should not shift. The people get confused. Suppose if a bus stop you are closing and shifting to the other side of the road or the other streets, parallel streets, then the people has to walk longer distances and they may find difficulty and they may sometimes get confused. So these things should be avoided. And so prior discussion should be there with the bus transit operators and utility providers. Suppose some utility line you are going to cut, okay, so for a short period of time, then you need to get a proper prior permission from such authorities. Schools, suppose school entrance, if you want to shift to the other road instead of the main road. So these things. That's also as a WTMP plan. When you are preparing, you should have a prior discussion with these people. That's what the multi-stakeholder meeting you need to conduct, and carefully you need to list. You should not leave any stakeholder, and you should have get okay from everyone before doing some actions. If the work zone include a highway rail upgrade level crossing, early coordination with the railway should be taken place. So railway, whenever a upgrade level crossing is there, accordingly you need to get prior permission from railways. Okay. Suppose if you are closing the railway gate and you are providing some other alternative route or diverting completely traffic to the other road where vehicle underpass is there, okay, rail underpass is there, So accordingly, you need to get prior permission from the authorities. Special attention may be needed to regulate and control heavy commercial vehicle traffic in the work zones. So where we are construction activities going place where heavy commercial traffic is there, heavily loaded trucks are moving. So that time we very precautionary measures we need to take, since heavily loaded trucks already is going. Suppose if you are getting a deep opening, you are going to cut, then whether the soil is capable of withstanding such heavy loads. So the proper precautionary measures you need to take. For example, I am saying, likewise during night time, how they are going to operate trucks. So planning should be there pakka. So with this principle, we can prepare a WTMP. The planning and designing of WTMP should be based on some of the important considerations. So what are the considerations? Provide safety for road users. After preparing plan, you would put a tick. Yes, provide safety for road users. Yes. Minimize hindrance or delay of road users. Yes. Provide clear and positive guidance to RU, that is road users. Yes. Ensure roadside safety maintenance. Yes. The planner and decision maker have the necessary knowledge to, you need to ensure whether the proper signboards are kept. Provide good public relations. Okay, properly you need to communicate to the public so that people are aware of that some construction is going on. So that need to be publicized through television or newspapers, etc. Right? So these things we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.